All right, everybody. It's been a long time since I've uploaded another video. So, trigger warning. I want to give a trigger warning really quick to anybody who might need one. Today, my discussion is going to involve some pretty graphic and intense things. And I don't want anybody to have to listen to it. It's going to include some pretty intense things. So I guess I will get right into it. So, being raised a Jehovah's Witness my entire life has caused me so much confusion in my sense of self. I no longer am a victim. I do not see myself as a victim. But I do know that I need to address some things that have otherwise remained unaddressed, confronted. And the reason I started doing this is because I was introduced to a shaman, I guess, recently, because I had a very vivid memory. And I don't know if I've discussed this before, but it was triggered by a song called Southern Cross. It came on my playlist. I don't know how it got there. And as soon as it came on, I had an extremely vivid physical and emotional memory. The memory itself wasn't traumatic, but it did start my journey on this inner child work. My most recent memory that I have for myself that wasn't either fed to me or shown to me with a picture is at the age of probably 7. I thought that was totally normal, and I am finding out that it might not be so normal. I'm going into this with an open mind. I want everyone to know, I'm not expecting anything. I'm not trying to feed anything into anything. And I'm also not going to reject anything I experience, right? So, I usually dream, or I don't dream dreams that are extremely vivid and I can remember, or I wake up extremely emotionally, either drained or just very emotional. In the past 3 days, I've had 3 extremely vivid dreams. So a little bit of my background. I come from a family that, from all intents and purposes, and all from the outside, it looks completely suburban, pretty much perfect. My mom and dad are still married. I have a younger sister, an older brother. My brother is currently an elder, I believe. I've been disfellowshipped for about 10 years. That being said, I am the only one out of my brother and sister that has had a hard time with life in general, basically, I guess. I have struggled with substance abuse for 20 years, in and out of recovery. I am pleased to say that I am in recovery and I'm clean today. And I am very proud of myself for that. I've got some time under my belt now, so that's nice. That being said as well. So I'll just say it out loud and outright. I do believe that there was some abuse that occurred to me. However, I have not nailed down exactly who, how. I have nailed down approximately when. And within the last 3 nights with these dreams, I have woken up screaming such thing as help, help, help. And in my dreams, they've been so very strange. So I'll explain them just briefly, okay? The first dream I had is I was at the Kingdom Hall that I was raised in. And I don't even know if it's there anymore, to be honest with you. I was at the Kingdom Hall with my dad. And I was looking on the ground for something. I don't know what it was. I found a handgun. I was about 4 or 5. And my dad had a rifle, which is strange because my father has never owned a weapon in his life. Anyhow, we started to walk out of the kingdom hall. It was nighttime. And my father was a good distance ahead of me. And I remember feeling scared. And I had this handgun with me, but I was holding it kind of like really gingerly. And my father had the rifle and he was ahead of me. Well, he picked up the rifle and kind of, loaded the barrel with the shell or whatever. I'm not sure what this is called, but he took it. And there was a kid walking behind me that was probably 16, 17 years old. I don't know who it was. My dad took the weapon that he had and just threw it blindly behind him. This kid picked it up, and I just remember feeling really scared. That was the end of that segment of the dream. And then I remember like laying on it kind of felt like a trampoline, and I was cuddled up in fetal position, and I was next to my father, and I kept asking my father to protect me, to put his arm around me and protect me. And he wouldn't do it, and I was just sobbing. And I woke up screaming, "Help me, help me, help me." That was the first dream. The second dream was I was in the back of back seat of a truck with my uncle, my maternal aunt's husband. So not a blood relation, but regardless. I was in the back of a truck with him. Two of his children were driving. And all of a sudden he started like French kissing me. And I was a child. I was 5 years old or so. And I kept resisting him. And he kept saying, you like it. You like it. And I just remember very, very vividly feeling terrified. And like this was not okay. And that went on for a entire drive. And my cousins were in the front seat in this dream, and they kind of ignored it, right? That was my second dream. My third dream was I was with my father at this gigantic mansion-looking thing. And I remember there were these very wide stairs that went up into this master bedroom. And there was a huge shower. Next thing I know, my dad's in the shower in his underwear, taking a shower, and that was very brief. But so I walked into the bedroom, and the whole room was nothing but a bed. And I remember saying, "I get the master bedroom." And my dad yelling, "Okay." And then I walked, I guess the shower was kind of a maze. So I walked through this maze shower and I saw like a few people I know from childhood. Nothing graphic or disgusting, but I remember feeling out of place and scared. And that's all I can really remember about that last dream. So I don't know, maybe if anybody ever watches this, I don't know, maybe they can help me out with that. I do know that I have lived with a feeling of not being, like I don't deserve good things for my whole life. When I was assaulted when I was 17 at a fraternity house in the city I used to live in, I came home and I remember sneaking back into my bedroom because I had snuck out. I ran to the shower, cleaned myself, and got back in bed. And I never told my family about it, ever. Never. Because I knew that they would blame me. At that point, I knew in my head that they would blame me. That's how I felt. To this day, I've never told my family. And I remember that when I was assaulted and I got pregnant with my youngest son, when I told my family what had happened, they told me I was outright lying and told me I was a liar. I can't control other people, right? But I know the feeling I have when I wake up from these dreams is utter terror and just shaking and sobbing. I'm getting closer to finding out what actually happened. I know that my father was an elder, apparently. I don't recall him ever being an elder, but I mean, I don't recall my father ever commenting at the meetings. He's never given talks as far as I can recall. He does not sing. He does not close his eyes for prayer. He run mics. He's not a ministerial servant. So it kind of feels like to me like he went from being an elder to being like having no responsibilities whatsoever. And he kind of rides my mom's coattails on this. And I have nobody to ask about any of this, because if I were to ask my sister, she would immediately become defensive, and I know that. My brother doesn't even speak to me. He has not spoken to me, and I can't remember the last time my brother spoke to me. So I want to confront this, but every time I go and have a session with my therapist or anybody, I get to that point in my brain where I'm going to open this door and see everything's going to be revealed. And I never knew there was something past the point, up a level from ugly crying. Now I do. It's where tears are just flooding out of your eyes and you're not even making a sound because there's no control there. And I will be in that state and I will think, this is it. I'm going to finally find out what has been holding me back my whole life. And as soon as I get there, my brain stops me. It prevents me. It shuts the doors like a steel trap and will not let me come in. And the emotion's gone, the fear is gone, the sadness is gone, and I'm completely detached. So if anybody has any ideas about how I can maybe get past those steel doors, I would love to have some advice. I love all of you, and good night.